Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Coming to stream as usual. Please make sure you are subscribed if you're not already. Ring that notification bell to know whenever my live streams along with other videos begin. And I just want to say I really appreciate every single one of you that have already joined as community members on my channel. It's about $6 or under $6, something like that. So basically, if you want to donate to this channel and you want to support me that extra mile, definitely consider joining as a community member. With that, you get priority response to whatever comments that you post on any of my videos, along with these today, like around $32 to close the stream and then restart it. Hold on. We're like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, bro, I never said I knew what I was talking about. Everything here is just everything here is for entertainment purposes only. If you like to see my trades, down in the description below. Some people might want to inverse trade me, like Jim Cramer has a lot of inverse traders. So there's that reasoning. And then other people just want to. Well, I hope you ring that notification bell so you'll know whenever I start these live streams. But I'm doing good. Thank you very much. It's really hot. And I don't know if you guys know, but I'm in California. So it's really starting to get hot. And I shouldn't be wearing t-shirts, probably wearing like a tube top or something. But didn't get a summer bod. I was focusing too much on Roaring Kitty and eating too much chips late at night. So it's not going to be me in a tube top anytime soon doing live streams. But keep hydrated, folks. Keep hydrated. Obviously, I'm glad that even though he's not doing live streams, not going to lie, I kind of miss seeing like his live stream for Roaring Kitty, just how many people, like there was 15,000 people waiting, like over, I think, like 12 hours or something like that. I saw at one point there was 15,000 people waiting, like right when it was released that he had that live stream on the playlist set up, like waiting to happen. And then when it actually happened, I thought he would have, like, honestly, he's so popular. And obviously there's a movie out there for Dumb Money, which I honestly want to rewatch again, at least throughout this week, so I can prepare myself mentally for what could possibly go down in the next like 10 weekdays. Well, actually, we only have 9 weekday trading because June 21st, 2024 is when his call options for 120,000 call options, right? Yeah. So times that by 100, he'll have to either buy 12 million or sell those call options. And everybody's kind of just under this assumption, even though the dude never said anything, that he's going to go ahead and execute those call options. But I don't know where everyone's getting these ideas because he didn't really actually say it. But at the same time, I guess I am leaning towards more likely, I would assume that he'd also probably not sell those options because, as you know, if you buy options that every passing day, you're putting yourself at more risk, and obviously you're going to be pummeled by theta. So it's going to be worth less and less by the day. So if you were planning on selling it, it would have been a better idea if you had sold it when GME hit like over $70 just recently, like last month, I believe, right? So no idea what is about to happen, but I feel like from now until Friday of next week, definitely there's going to be a lot of volatility, or at least I assume there will be a lot of volatility because I don't know what could possibly happen. Not financial advice. And yeah, I am definitely still in with GME. I can't say what position I am currently holding on to right now, but let's just say I think it is more than the average American right now. I think if there is, let's say there's 600,000 people that were watching a stream live, and let's just say half of those people, let's just say if even 300,000 people are buying into GME, I do believe that I have a bigger position possibly than at least majority, like more than 50% of the people there. That's going to be my assumption because recently I've been watching other like big YouTubers kind of talk about how much they think a lot of individuals have into GME. And the assumption is there's a small group of people with like $10,000 in it. And then another group that's larger with like possibly less than 5,000. And then, you know, just because it's cheaper to kind of just be like, let's stick it to the hedges or the suits, which by the way, not why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm only buying GME based off the momentum, a little bit because I want him to win too, but mostly to make money for myself. Honestly, like I'm a capitalist, so I'm here just for myself. But yeah, I have a good amount in it right now. So definitely every single night, I don't know how I go to sleep. And when I wake up, I'm definitely waking up, finding myself just naturally wake up, you know, earlier than usual because I'm like, I need to see what's going on. It was a little disappointing today because I feel like it dropped lower. GME dropped lower than that like $27 threshold that we saw it there for a while. So right now, as I am making this live stream, GameStop is on Robinhood overnight trading at 24.92. So not the prettiest chart, and obviously we did fall down from that like $27 line, which I thought we would be able to hodl for a bit. Who knows how much further it could fall? And to be honest, like I do want to put a fair warning out there as somebody who clearly traded in 2021 and a lot of crypto, a lot of meme stocks. I pretty much touched everything. Like I was on AMC, I was on GME. I'm pretty sure I did BB as well, BlackBerry, and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know even when, like something chicken soup for the soul related stock. I think I was in that too. I don't even know if that was in 2021 or if it's even trading because it's clearly not in my portfolio anymore. But I've had my fair share of the memes and I had my fair share of whatever was posted on Wall Street Bets. And I just want to put a fair warning out there for those of you guys that if it is your first time and you are freaking out, just understand that nobody knows what could happen with the market, but there are going to be a lot of losers. It's just how the game works. So do not expect everyone you know and your neighbors who are currently buying GameStop to be necessarily making money out of this thing. I'm not saying that they won't, but I think the chances of a lot of people getting wrecked at the end of this is possibly higher. I know I lost like for sure guaranteed on Robinhood alone $5,000 by the end of 2023 out of GameStop, like overall, but I was like buying in and out over and over. But then somehow on GameStop and AMC throughout the years, I've kind of lost count at this point because I obviously jumped back in 2024. But before this year, jumping back into GameStop, my calculation was I lost around about $50,000 on GameStop and AMC combined. But again, numbers are fluffy because I used to have an account where I had all these videos, and that's kind of how I thought I would have like record of my previous trades, which I don't have it anymore. So back up your stuff. And I guess if I look through my tax forms, I'd be able to find it. But anyways, all good. For those of you guys that are in the stream right now, please subscribe to the channel and make sure to smash that like button because it is absolutely free to do so. I do want to talk a couple things that I learned recently about GameStop that I didn't even know before I YOLO'd more money into it. Okay. So we all heard about the 7 million shares issuance that happened on the day of his stream. So June 7th, last Friday, right before Roaring Kitty stream, GameStop kind of came out and did their earnings, even though they were supposed to technically do it tomorrow. Like the date that I had memorized was always June 11th, because that showed as the day that they were supposed to do their earnings for Q1. And then all of a sudden they came out and did their Q1 earnings. It was like, okay, we're losing. It was all bad news. It was like, we're losing money. And it was stating that they were going to go ahead and issue more shares, which a lot of people then apparently have all this hate against Ryan Cohen, CEO of GameStop, stating that he basically rug pulled all the retail investors along with Roaring Kitty, all that. But from another perspective, again, I'm not saying he is for Roaring Kitty or against it, or he's trying to help retail investors or he's against it, but just from a fair perspective, he is a businessman. And apparently this is quite normal. And AMC clearly has done it many times in the past, where when a stock that's deemed a meme stock or just for like an event where people are rallying up your stock value for your company way higher than it is usually traded, then you supposedly want to take advantage of that by issuing more shares and selling at a higher price. So then this way it is financially, apparently, more of a wiser move for a company to raise money instead of like financing and taking out loans at a high interest rate, right? So it's kind of like when there is free money for the company to take, even at the expense of the retail investors, they're going to do it. And not just at the expense of retail investors, but right now, I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's just retail versus hedgies. It was never retail versus hedgies. It wasn't retail versus hedgies only, even back in 2021. There were regular folks, just like you and I, that were shorting the stock and was like, okay, this is trash. Like GME is never going to make it. It's not going to do like a 20x mother of all short squeezes Moss like that people were waiting for. There were a lot of people that never believed in it back then, and they still don't believe in it now, that are just regular retailers. And then obviously there are regular retailers that believe in it and believe in the mother of all short squeezes. And I don't know if like I'm gonna see the situation. I mean, I'd love it. It would literally make me a multimillionaire, I think, by June of 2024 if we do see this mother of all short squeezes, because in my opinion, like a mother ultra squeezes would be like GameStop right now at what, like 24.89, popping off to like, I don't know, 30x at this point. Like if it goes off 30x from this price point value, I think that that would be a mother of ultra squeezes. And God knows how much money Roaring Kitty would have at that point. Okay, this light, I need to, sorry, I'm just going to make this light calm down a bit. The light is way too bright right now. So I blinded my eyes. Okay, there we go. Okay, I had it on like max. What's going on? Oh, I'm like blinded. I can't even see the screen. Okay. This motto, Hakuna Matata, do you know what it means? This motto, Hakuna Matata. How dare you say I don't know what that means? It means everything's gonna be okay. I think. I mean, I watched Lion King enough times to like memorize that. I think it means everything's gonna be okay. Not saying everything's gonna be okay though. I mean, in the philosophical mindset, I do think everything's gonna be okay in the end, because it is up to you to decide if you're okay or not. And I'm gonna decide that I'm gonna be okay, even if I not financial advice, but I'm prepared. Like everything that I do, no tears will shed due to GameStop. I'm not going to hate on Roaring Kitty. I'm not going to hate on Ryan Cohen. Got no idea what's going on. I never had any idea what's going on. I'm just learning little pieces here and there, and I'm explaining to you guys why I'm doing what I'm doing, what I'm learning about it, and my thesis on the information based off of other people's analysis. But I don't know what'll happen. I just know I am responsible for the money that I put into GameStop. And if I become a multimillionaire through this, then great. If I don't and I lose it all, then it's money that I know that I am putting on the line, and I could possibly lose it all. And I hope for you guys that whatever regular stocks or meme stocks that you get yourself into, or crypto, we all know that there's a possibility of basically losing it all. I mean, yeah, it's all risky. It's all risky. So DZ, unfortunately, I'm not going to release my current position on GME because that would be unfair to my Patreon and my OF members and basically anybody who pay for a subscription to me and they see those trades. So unfortunately, I'm not going to release that, but I'm just telling you that, yeah, if we see a mother of all sure squeezes, I could easily become a multimillionaire overnight. That's the position that I have without actually telling you how many shares I have. But if you want to see it, links down in the description below, folks. Juicy, welcome. Is my GME purchases Lucy? Wait, what is my GME purchases Lucy insure? Insure? Oh, sorry. The heart is covering what you're saying, but is that what the motto? Yeah, is that what the motto means? I think it means everything's okay. But anyways, another point that I honestly didn't understand, but I kept seeing in the news was the whole 75 million share issuance. So apparently when a company is going to do something like a share issuance, they have to release it like prior to 4 days. And last month, so in May 17th, there was 45 million shares issued for GameStop already. But when they say that when they release this 8, because I kept hearing people say AK, it sounds like A like Apple K, but it's actually the number 8K for Kit Kat. The 8K statement that was released on May 17th by GameStop said that they were able to release up to 45 million shares. So basically selling off 45 million shares at the obviously new price of GameStop. And see, I took that as they have to sell 45 million shares, but I learned through somebody else's podcast that apparently 45 million shares, when they say up to, it doesn't mean they actually have to issue exactly 45 million. They could do up to, so they could really do like 5 million shares and be like, okay, I did it, right? At least I issued something. And then on his stream day, right before his stream day, when they released the fact that, basically the company's earnings, they also stated on June 7th that they could release up to 75 million. And it's funny the way that like for the average person, I thought like, oh, that's terrible, because you just hear it on the news and you're like, oh, they already did 45 million issuance last month. And then now in June, again, just because the price went up, they're doing 75 million. But apparently, again, it's up to 75 million. That's including the previous 45 million, supposedly. Again, always your own DD. Hi there, Swagmaster. So then 75 minus 45, that's really just another 30 million issuance. And again, it's up to. So do they really have to go ahead and issue exactly 75 mil? they don't have to, is my understanding right now. And if that's incorrect, let me know down in the comment section below how you interpret it, and also the facts behind it and where your resources are. So yeah, that actually, I think, gave me more hope into the company. And I don't feel like the company was trying to screw over Roaring Kitty, or really the average retailer, or rug pull everybody else. Obviously, it's not a great look. And I do agree with the YouTuber Zip Trader, who said that over the weekend that it would be nice if GameStop did come out with a announcement like, we're done with more share issuance for at least the rest of the quarter. I do agree with that. I think that would make people more inclined to go ahead and buy GameStop because they like the stock, go long on it, or buy call options on it, long term or short term, just because they feel like it could actually go up instead of it going up to, like, from the current price of $24.90 right now to 69 or $50, and then just, go back down. I do have my personal guess on all of this. Is I've seen the most movements every single time for GameStop after hours or pre-market, where there's no like 17 halts in the day. So I hope, for Roaring Kitty's sake, I have no idea when this dude is ever going to sell, to be honest. And I love to know what you guys think on if he sells, when he'll ever sell, or maybe he'll just never sell. But I actually put out a poll on X. So if you're not already following me on X, this is my user, just living with Lucy. It's very simple, LUCI. So if you want to go ahead and follow me there and join my polls and vote, definitely do that. So I did a little poll and I was like, how much do you guys think that GameStop would have to be at? Because currently right now it's obviously at like less than $26 for Roaring Kitty to, aka Keith Gill, DFV, to even want to sell. And I gave a couple options. Obviously, it doesn't mean it's actually going to go to $100. It could just never go up at this point. It could go to $10 or $3. But I gave the option of $100, $150, $200, or $300 plus. Surprisingly, nobody voted for $200. So we got the majority, 53%. Believes that GameStop is like that. Roaring Kitty would not sell his GameStop until it hits $300 plus. I think that's a little wild. I'm more leaning towards, like, if it gets to even 150 or 200 at best, I feel like he would leave, because post split, because obviously GameStop throughout from 2021 to 2024, I think they had just like that one split, right? I think it was a 4-to-1 split or whatever. Or is it 5-to-1? I don't know. I think it's 4-to-1. But basically for GameStop, if you remember, even after post split, the highest it's ever been back in 2021, now that if you include the split, was like $120. So I think if he didn't sell at $120 and he really, really likes stock and believes in the stock, my only, assumption on when he would sell would be it would have to cross 120. So I think 150 would be a good spot, but who knows how high this whole thing can go, because I've never seen anything like it. I already feel like it was the mother of all short squeezes, considering we literally watched GameStop go from 2020, the price of around $3, all the way to 400 something dollars in 2021. So to me, $3 something to like the likes of $400 in 2021 within a span of like less than a year, that is already the mother of all short squeezes, in my opinion. But clearly people are still like, no, we didn't see the mother of all short squeezes. Like, it's still going to happen. I have no idea what people would really gauge or consider a mother of all short squeezes. But if you'd bought in at the current price of 23, I think it's a little, I think it's a little too positive to expect another $3 to even $300 situation, because that's 100x. And if you do 100x from its current prices, it would literally have to go to $2,700. And then with the current market cap of like less than $8 billion, it would have to basically go somewhere around $800 billion. And that to me is a little much. Do I think Nvidia is also a little much right now? Absolutely. I don't think it's going to stay at around 3 trillion. But then again, I have no idea, because a part of me also feels like in order for America to pay its trillions and trillions, and I think people say like every quarter basically we add on to trillions more of debt, right? Like every single year we obviously have more and more debt piled on. So my other theory is, which doesn't really, I guess, work with my current theory of I don't think everything's just going to keep going up. I think eventually we're going to have a huge pullback, especially for stuff like Nvidia. But my other theory is the market could just keep going up, because what other way do we have for America to ever get out of debt? Like, we basically have to have crazy inflation. We basically have to have these companies have wild earnings, and Apple and Microsoft and Tesla and the likes all make, and Amazon, of course, can't forget them, make more and more and more and more money so they can pay more and more and more taxes for the government. For the government to just basically keep running, and then also for them to eventually try to pay back more of that debt. Everything has to go up. But even if everything has to go up, and that doesn't necessarily mean that Nvidia, that specific company, has to go up another like twofold, you know? So I do not, full disclosure, I know I'm talking a lot of smack about Nvidia, so I apologize if you have a lot of Nvidia. To each his own. I've done call options where I made money, and I done puts that lost money, and also call options that lost money a lot. So I don't know, but I've checked how much it is to buy Nvidia put options. And I'm not gonna lie, it makes me really happy, because I couldn't afford it. I could not afford it last week. It was like $20,000 for the put options that I wanted to buy. But guess what? I could buy a put option right now for about $1,000 something dollars. So let's see here, just for fun, just for funsies. We're gonna go into let's see here. I have no Nvidia stock, so I actually have to search it. Nvidia, which is currently at the price of $122, which means obviously last week it was around like 1,200 because it did the 10-to-1 split. And now we're seeing these new prices. It is currently at a market cap, actually, sorry, just under 3 trillion, 2.99 trillion to be exact. So it's currently at the stock price of 122.17. And if I click trade options, to show you something that I was interested in, doesn't mean I'm actually going to get it, but I might get it tomorrow. And I like to do long call options or long put options because I feel like I'm a risk taker, but I like to be a little safer on, not freaking myself out if I do like a short-term call option or put option. So let's just say I buy it for June 16, 2026 expiry date. Okay. I think it's quite far because giving myself like a lot more than a year and a half, basically. And let's say I want it to be at a break even of about $100. So I needed to go and drop 18% just to break even on this put. I'm looking at the buy Nvidia at 127 put that expires 1/16/2026. So something like that. Just checking it out to show you guys. That would be, sorry, this one's on $1,000, but this one would cost me $2,725 to buy this put option by Nvidia. But it really interests me because if things really go south, and not just for Nvidia, but basically the entire economy, right? Like if we do have World War III, if China and the US go hard on this battle between Taiwan that's kind of just like been behind the scenes, like brewing for a while. If that also occurs, yeah, I do think a lot could happen with these chip companies, right? I mean, they design chips, but just a feeling. And I feel like I usually don't do put options unless I've been thinking about it long and hard. And my greatest regret was, if you were watching my live streams back in 2021, I had said over and over again that I did not believe in, was it Peloton? I think it's Peloton, or that bike, like that stationary bike company. And they were selling it for like thousands of dollars. I'm like, that's not really my style. It's not my thing. I just thought it was a little OP. And yeah, it did end up going down. And I cursed myself for not believing in my original thesis, that I just didn't believe in the company. And I felt like it was just blown up, especially like the pandemic, which I didn't think would last forever. So I'm like, oh, people are spending so much money on it now because they're just happen to be home. But do I see people spending thousands of dollars to do this and stay inside for the long run? I just didn't think so. And I wish I had bought puts on it so badly. But anyways, back to GameStop. Another date, and which is, as you can see by my title, is June 11th, which I find really funny because June 11th was again supposed to be the day for tomorrow, Tuesday, June 11th, 2024 was supposed to be the day that we were going to get those GameStop earnings. So that's not happening anymore because we already have the earnings, the bad earnings. But apparently, there's short interest that you could look up. You could look this up on GameStop for Yahoo Finance. And obviously the short interest is not nearly as high as Keith Gill kind of disclosed it online, of like over 100% supposedly back in 2020 or 2021. And that's how kind of like a lot of people rallied in and started to buy, because you're like, oh my God, we're going to see this mother of all short squeezes. Having a short interest over 100% means there are more people that are borrowing the shares than there are shares actually available to be even traded, right? Like, and a bunch of naked short selling and all this other stuff that's in the dark and not really good for the company. But the short interest, I actually just learned this recently because, again, I don't know what I'm doing. I thought that it's not something that's updated as often, but if you look online, and I took a few notes on this, I love that Roaring Kitty DFV is basically causing me to want to learn more about short interest and just like about stocks, even though I've been trading it since 2019, pretty much every single day. And I had no interest to really even look through balance sheets and short interest until now. So thank you, Roaring Kitty, for that. I don't think you'll ever see one of my videos, but I'm really grateful for, I hope other people who are also buying it is not just YOLOing it and they're trying to like at least take this opportunity to learn something from it, because I feel like I can't learn something unless I'm interested, and I'm heavily interested right now. But I also feel like I can't really care for something unless I have skin in the game, and I have skin in the game. So if you also have skin in the game, smash that like button. Thank you. But short interest. So how delayed is short interest? The reports must be filed by the second business day after the reporting settlement date. FINRA complies with short interest data and provides it for publication on the 8th business day after the reporting settlement date. The short interest information includes the adjustment for stock splits. But what is the short interest release date? The reporting period. Firms must report their mid-month short positions as of the close of business on the settlement date of the 15th each month, or where the 15th is a non-settlement date on the preceding settlement date. Now, how often does FINRA report short interest? They do it twice a month. FINRA Rule 4560 requires FINRA member firms to report their short positions in equity securities to FINRA twice a month. And so I learned that we're going to be getting, apparently it's tomorrow, we're going to get that new number. So whatever short interest you're currently seeing, that we're all seeing for GameStop, that is going to either go higher or lower. And I'm going to do a little poll right now to see what you guys think, if the short interest has greatly increased or a little bit, either going up or going down through the second half of May, because that is going to be the short interest that's going to be released tomorrow on June 11th about the GameStop short interest second half. So whatever information we have now is just the first portion, right? And clearly a lot has happened between now and the last half of May. So I'm curious what you guys think. I would be honestly surprised. I think like definitely if the short interest is really high, then I can see GME rallying up from its current price of like, let's see here, $24.95 to a lot higher. I don't know if it'll get to like the 70s or 80s based on it, unless the short interest somehow popped up to like 80%. From what I heard, it's still been like way under 50%. But either way, I think it's going to be good news for the stock price going up higher, only if obviously the short interest grew a lot bigger. But if the short interest actually decreased by a lot or even decreased, I think that's going to cause a lot more people to be like, I don't know what's going on, and I don't really know what Roaring Kitty's doing, and I don't want to be a part of this. And then possibly sell out of their positions. So I'm going to ask, June 11th, we will have new SI for GME released. Will it be higher or lower short interest? And the first option will be higher short interest or lower short interest. I'm very curious. So I think tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day, even though I was kind of like, it sucks that, we weren't going to get the earnings anymore. But this is actually better now that I'm thinking about it. Like the fact that GameStop went ahead and disclosed the bad, like either way, it was going to be bad that they're losing money, right? I feel like by doing an earnings call, whether they did it tomorrow or not, it's still like bad news. So it's kind of like they got the bad news out of the way. And then Roaring Kitty's like, okay, I'm still in. I think it might have actually been worse had they had Roaring Kitty done his live stream on Friday and then they did the earnings tomorrow like they were supposed to, and then came out and said, okay, we lost money. Because then people would be like, oh, what if Roaring Kitty now is getting that information and he's not happy with the information? What if he's selling? What if he's going to get rid of those call options? So it's almost like the way I'm seeing it, at least, is that it's actually a better ending the fact that Roaring Kitty knew what the earnings report was for GameStop before he did his live stream, and then showed that he was still in heavily. Okay, so we got 80% here voting that it's going to be higher short interest. Again, I guess we're going to find out. I'm just excited as somebody who's holding on to GameStop and just trying to make some money here. I'm not necessarily holding for the moon. Like that's definitely not my game plan at all. And hence why before Roaring Kitty even did a stream, I wasn't even sure if it was going to be him. I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to sell some, right? So I pulled out and made sure I held on to some profits. I think I'm going to keep doing that, to be honest. Like as much as I would love to see it 10x and make a ton of money, I think I've watched it just kind of move around enough and see a lot of people sell off during market hours where they halt. I would like to be out before that. Like if I'm lucky enough to see pre-market or after hours that the stock is doing really, really well. Like if it's holding strong at like 1 a.m. tomorrow, right? June 11th, 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. If I see it at like $60 solid, I probably would get rid of it because that would be like basically 2x for me. And I would hope that I could get in again once it drops during trading hours. Of course, I'm risking the fact that I could just miss the boat and then not make it on the rocket ship like others. DZ says, what happens if there is no short squeeze? Your contract expires. What happens if there is no short squeeze? Mike, I don't have any call options, guys, if you're asking for me. I don't know about what you mean with Roaring Kitty, but if his contract expires, it's the right, not the obligation. Remember, he has the right to go ahead. It either expires worthless, by the way, guys, because there's a lot of people out there that think my personal guess on all this is I think Roaring Kitty is actually much wealthier than obviously the news is reporting him to be, and thinking that he's not actually wealthy enough to even pay. And because people are like, how does he have this money? Who's backing him? How is he going to be able to afford to pay like around $200 million? Because if you're going to go ahead and execute those call options, you're going to need to pay for like 12 million shares, right? Because 120,000 contracts times 100, you're going to need to pay for 12 million shares at $20 per share of GME. So a lot of people are like, where is he going to get the money for that? I first of all think that, again, just a guess. I'm guessing, and I'm sticking with my assumption that I think he has a lot more money than people believe he has. He could possibly, he's such a jokester. Like if you watch his live stream, he's such a jokester that even tweeted today, you were a billionaire. I think that's what it is. So if you're not following him, I don't know why you care about this, but he posted this meme 8 hours ago. The one where it's you were a billionaire. And I think he's literally poking fun at himself. I think he's poking fun at himself, being like, okay, people are making fun of the fact that he's losing hundreds of millions of dollars throughout this week, right? His birthday week, unfortunately. But who's to say this guy's not a billionaire? Clearly he has more ammo than people believed that he had in the first place. Diamond Hand 69, member for 31 months. Thank you so much for joining my Rubber Chicken YOLO gang. Greatly appreciate it. And for any of you guys that also want to join, thank you so much. Diamond Hand 69, smash the likes and subscribe and use my cute little stickers that I made 1,000 years ago. But if you do want to join as a community member and have your names highlighted on these streams, and that way I can respond quicker to you on all your comments on my channel over here, greatly appreciated. Definitely consider joining as a member on this channel. Thank you very much. 2,700 incoming. Dream Tanks TV. Buying GME at 25 is the same position on the weekly 20 EMA as GME at 150 in 2020 before the huge run. Okay, now I didn't do the math on that, so somebody else fact check that. But I do think right now the price that I'm buying it at is higher than I would have preferred, to be honest. Obviously, knowing everything in hindsight, 2020, I would love for GameStop to honestly drop to $10 right now, so I can buy it at $10. But I don't think it'll happen anytime soon. Anyways, what I was gonna say, I believe that he could just let it expire But I personally feel like he's not going to let it expire, and he's going to execute those call options. Like, not necessarily right the day before. It could be this week. It could be like next week, beginning half, or the day before. Who knows? But I personally feel like he has the money and he's going to execute it and go ahead and buy those 12 million shares. Like, is that a lot? Yes. I don't understand like the charts enough to know how much of a tick up we're going to see. And will that, if he does end up doing it and buying that, or maybe he has even more that we don't know about, because dude only showed his E-Trade account, right? Like that's all we've seen. What if he also has a Robinhood account? What if he also has like a Fidelity account or like a Webull account? Like you just don't know how much money this guy has. And at any given point, he could do like a stream in the middle of the night. If I were him, to be honest, I'd rather do a stream like late at night where they're not going to halt you versus doing what he did recently, which is for all the halts to happen during his stream. But I also thought it was extremely clever if he's clearly seen all of the news saying like, oh, is the SEC going to get after him? Is he doing something wrong? Like, this kind of just ends that conversation because he literally did a stream like acting like there was, I mean, not acting, but he was in a cast and there was band-aids and it's just ridiculous in the greatest way ever. But he was being like a meme lord on like television because they posted it. And then on top of that, it just showed that even though he did a live, he cannot, like, that's not manipulation when the stock is literally tanking as he's doing his live. I would argue that as they halted it, they shouldn't have even halted. If they wanted to prove something, like if the SEC was like on standby watching and hoping that he did something wrong, it would have made more sense for the stock not to have been halted 17 times, because then it might have actually rode up. The fact that nobody could have really, like, the buy button was stopped so many times over, it really couldn't ride up. And you couldn't make him look guilty if that's what the goal was or the hope was, right? But again, I have no idea what will happen. We'll just have to wait and see. The Rusty OTF says, how's your Jasmy? My Jasmy is going. It's good, actually. Like, I'm speaking of crypto is kind of disappointing lately because it's boring. Crypto is boring right now. It's basically acting like an ETF for me. Not happy about it, but I just don't think this is its time. And if I look back at all the other years, I think everything just has its moment. And right now it's just not crypto's moment, man. It's not. I think it's the time of GameStop still. And it's not going to be the time of GameStop forever either, though. Just keep that in mind. Everything has its moment. Like, obviously GameStop, AMC had their time January 2021 and then came back a few months after that. Dogecoin had its time. Not saying it's not going to have its time again. Bitcoin recently had its moment, and then Bitcoin's now like under $70,000 again. Jasmy is surprisingly performing better than a lot of other crypto positions that's in my portfolio. So I'm happy with games. I'm happy with Jasmy. Still holding on. It's one of those things where I'm like, damn, why can't I just drop more so then I could buy more? I'm still mad at the fact that when my SO bought Jasmy when it was less than a penny, he didn't inform me of it and didn't try to tell me to buy anything. But I guess it goes to show, never give financial advice, even to your significant others. What? Oh, I posted this on my, again, not financial advice. This is a total YOLO, but it's a YOLO I've been honestly thinking about for a while, so I just did it for fun. Faraday Future Intelligent Electric. Ticker symbol FFIE. See, I really don't look at it enough to even memorize it. I did. I got into it. I got into it today because I've been thinking about it. The last time it was around 50 cents. Now it's like I got it around 55 cents. And I already set a limit sell. I already set a limit sell order. So I'm not here for long. I just want to be there because, okay, my little theory is if GME, which I'm already in, pops, and the last time it popped, like all these other little meme things moved. So I'm like, I think there's a possibility that if I already believe that GameStop is going to have a move up, that FFIE could possibly move up too. So I'm literally just trading on that momentum. And I just put a little in, just a little bit. And again, if you want to see my trades, links down below. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. I'm excited to possibly sell before the morning of tomorrow. I will do a live stream, maybe, if something wild happens. But thank you guys all for joining my live stream. Let's check out the interest tomorrow, what the short interest is in GameStop. And it's going to be an exciting, like these 9 more weekdays of trading up until because I don't know how long this thing's going to extend for. Like if this GameStop saga, as they're calling it, is going to continue past his call options, right? Because if he can buy those call options, who's to say he can't reveal that there's more call options or that he's going to buy more call options next week with another trading account? Possibly not E-Trade, because we already saw that. So I don't know when this saga is going to end, really. I hope it honestly continues on for longer, but I just do want to remind you guys, everything does come down to an end. Everything will. Everybody's still talking about Nvidia. It feels like the whole year they've been talking about Nvidia. But eventually, there's either going to be a new stock to talk about or a new old stock that's now hitting new all-time highs that people are going to talk about. And maybe it'll come back again in the future. I'm not saying that if GameStop, like, it's just kind of out of people's radar and we're not talking about it anymore, let's say 3 years from now, that it's not going to come back like 6-7 years from now. Anything goes in the stock market. But I just want to say that you shouldn't expect something that's happening in the moment. And really, this situation is like a pop-up that occurred out of nowhere, out of the blue, after like 3 years of Roaring Kitty's disappearance, right? So I just want to take advantage and take my opportunity on what I think is a very rare moment. Or I could be wrong and just lose a whole bunch of money. So take care. Never financial advice on my channel. Smash the like button if you enjoy this video. Let me know your comments down in the comment section below on what you think is going to go down, what you think the short interest is going to be. Also, like how much you think this dude's going to get out of all of this at point, because I think it'll be closer to 200, above 150. But I'm also prepped if he's going to get out way before next week. And yeah. Peace out, guys. Thank you.